League of Legends. This is a game that doesn't need an introduction. The global MOBA phenomenon remains one of the biggest games on the market, attracting millions of monthly players and generating billions in revenue every single year. League of Legends is the game that showed us the heights esports could reach, packing stadiums and breaking tons of gaming records. But if you've ever participated in the quote-unquote League of Legends community, then you would hardly think it's a beloved game at all. The MOBA is notorious for harboring one of the most toxic gaming communities, and the cesspool of negativity oozes into every aspect of the community. As someone who used to play a ton of League and would rage pretty often, I can confirm this anecdotally. And when you think about the way the game is constructed, it makes a whole lot of sense that League would be one of the more toxic games on the market. At its core, it's a team game. Unlike, say, Fortnite, where if you're good enough, it doesn't really matter how bad your team is, in League, you're almost entirely dependent on the performance of your team. It's closer to games like basketball than it is to other video games on the market, and real-life sports aren't exactly known to be the most wholesome, But the mechanics of the game aren't the only reason it has such a toxic community. The real culprit lies in the people behind the game. The team at Riot Games once said they wanted League of Legends to grow so much that it's practiced like any other great sport in history. Just like kids get together at the local soccer field to play ball, Riot envisions a future where League is as ubiquitous in human culture. A video game that lasts forever. This is a businessman's wet dream. Riot's Mark Merrill put it a little bit more cynically. Imagine we invented basketball, but we own every basketball court on Earth. We sell you the shoes, and we built the NBA. As the years take its toll on the now decade-old game, it seems like an unlikely future, but that hasn't stopped Riot from trying to lengthen the life of League as much as possible. Take the popular game mode Earth. It's a mode where every character is essentially in God mode, and it is super fun. It's hands down the most beloved game mode, and the community loves it. So why is it only available every few months and not all the time? Riot revealed that whenever they let players play Earth, they see an initial boost in players coming back to the game, but when they remove it, the overall player base decreases as a result. Earth is so much more fun compared to the main game that for the majority of the player base, when it's gone, they just stop playing the game entirely. For a regular game, this wouldn't be a problem, because having a variety of choices so that the players can customize their experience to their liking is what most games do. You don't see games like Super Smash Bros. Restricting player choice to manage the fun, but Riot wants a forever game. They don't want to build a video game, they want to build an institution. And so instead of giving players what they want, they have to rely on carefully managing content in such a way to sustain the player base. They drip feed fun in a carefully researched mechanical way to keep people hooked longer. And it's really kind of freaky how much they rely on hidden metrics to educate the player experience. To Riot, you don't know what you want, they know what you want. And they'll make you play the game their way. Another place they do this is the ranked system. Instead of offering a simple elo system where you're given a number and depending on your performance it goes up and down, League uses a hidden elo system where your real rank is obscured by a superfluous ranking system made up of tiers and divisions. Your placement on the tiers is entirely meaningless. The real magic behind the matchmaking system lies in the hidden elo, but it's not shown to the players, so you're placed on an endless treadmill of progression where you're constantly chasing that next carrot. Instead of showing you your real rank and letting you climb and fall depending on your performance, the ranked system artificially lengthens the climb to keep you playing for the entire season. What would normally take a handful of games in an elo system is lengthened to 10, 20, 30 games, since you have to climb through each division, and in between every tier, you have to win a promotional series to rank up. Ranking up is called the grind for a reason. It's designed to be a process that keeps you coming back for months on end. These kinds of dictatorial design decisions are usually justified by gaming developers that say they promote player satisfaction. Another game that comes to mind that does this is Splatoon 2, where the maps and game modes available to the player are limited to whatever the roulette lets you play. And while I generally disagree with this megalomaniacal approach to game design, in Splatoon 2, it's generally pretty harmless. It's a $60 game you pay for without any microtransactions. League follows the game as a service model where it's designed to be a continuous source of revenue for Riot Games. While Splatoon 2's rotating game modes are a result of overconfident designers, League's manipulative design is meant to suck more money out of the player over time. After all, if you're putting in 10 games a week, you can spend $10 for that Lee Sin skin, right? That's how they get you. So when you combine the competitive aspect, the manipulative design, and the free-to-play model, we're left with an incredibly dangerous concoction. A game designed not to be fun, but to ensnare and addict. Jim Sterling has a masterclass video on the predatory design of free-to-play games and how they rely on getting people hopelessly addicted to turn a profit. I won't go over that here in detail, but League follows the same design principles as any other scummy, exploitative iPhone game. And Riot are well aware of the danger in their game's design. They just don't care. Google search League of Legends and addiction, and you'll find thousands of heartbreaking stories of people who were sucked in and found themselves lost in the void that League of Legends can be. And every game can have people addicted to it. People can be addicted to anything. But over time, Riot has only expanded the predatory nature of League. Skins have only gotten more expensive, all kinds of new cosmetics from ward skins to icons and emotes have given Riot entirely new ways to suck money out of their player base. The Hextech crafting system that was introduced a few years back is just a gambling minigame, and Eternals are a paid feature that most other games offer for free. Riot continues to build new systems around the base game that are meticulously designed to keep the player base grinding away with the illusion of progression that has just enough well-timed hits of dopamine to keep most people playing for years. And they have to do this if they want to keep people around, because their refusal to make Earth a permanent game mode shows that League of Legends formula just isn't fun enough on its own to fuel a highly profitable player base for 10 years. Riot has to rely on these external systems, or else most players would leave to any other game. And they do this all for the pursuit of their eternal golden goose. Under these conditions, well, no wonder people are toxic. The entire game is toxically designed. I remember I was playing a ranked game once, and I started raging at a teammate after things weren't going so well. Someone on the team had enough and replied, "Chill, you're not going to be on LCS," which is the professional league. And I didn't really know how to respond. With one message, this random dude had completely undone the spectacle Riot had built up for me. As much as we've been conditioned to believe otherwise, the grind is completely meaningless. All these systems of progression we've been told have value are really just ways for Riot to keep us around long enough to vacuum all the money from our wallets. And by all the money, I mean all the money. In 2017, League pulls in over $2.1 billion. And that's just in-game microtransactions, nothing else. People often give Riot Games credit for being quote-unquote generous when offering the base game for free, but it's not an act of generosity. Just the same way casinos offer drinks on the house, free-to-play is just a way to get you in the door. And it all goes to support a deeply problematic company that got sued by the state of California for gender discrimination. It's not hard to see why Riot takes such a callous and calculating approach with their customers when they don't even show that basic decency and respect to their employees. Well, that's all I got for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like League and disagree, let me know. I like it too, and I think it has a lot of merits, and it's brought a lot of joy to people's lives, but the dark design of the game is way too much to ignore. I'll see you in the next video.